Hi, I'm Erin Lincoln. I'm here for the May release to show you how to make these adorable felt baby booties with patches on the bottom. I have some new Baby Bootie Dies for you. You saw the boy version. Here's the girl version. This is what we're going to make. And these show little patches too, which are so adorable. So let's go ahead and get started and I'll show you how to do it. As you can see, they're very itty bitty. They're tiny. I'm not a small girl by any means. I'm 5'7" and I probably have medium-sized hands, so that gives you a good idea about how big they are. They're about 3.5 inches long. Here is the topper of the baby booty. Here's the sole die. And here is like the heel strip, which you're going to need 2 of. I want to show you a couple things. There's a little rectangular hole as opposed to a circle hole. And we also have these like little square cross stitch things that they're gonna factor in huge here in a little bit. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. I like to cut each piece individually as opposed to cutting the heel, the topper, and the strip all at the same time. I think it's better to put all the pressure on one piece to help you with the holes. So this is the topper, and you can see some of the holes are still there. You take a needle and you just punch those through real quick. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes and it's well worth your time. Here's the heel and there's the rectangular hole. I'm just letting you know it's there. Again, this factors in big in this design, so I'll probably point it out every chance I get. I'm going to run this through. I made these booties kind of a color block design for 2 reasons. A, they're cute. B, it's going to be really easy to show you how the pieces come together if they're contrasting colors. So that's why the sole is out of winter wisteria felt, and the top of the shoe, the booty, was out of raspberry fizz. Alright, here is the strip in the back. You see it right there. Now I used 2 of them, so we're going to cut those twice out of royal velvet felt here. I'm just running it through my vagabond. Now I have noticed some colors of felt, the holes punch out easier than the others. I think it might have to do with the dye, whatever that does to the wool. But it's no big to see like that royal velvet, all those popped out nicely. But again, it's well worth taking 5 minutes and freeing all those holes that are stuck in there. You know, it's very fibrous. They're going to stick. But it's no big deal to get them out. Okay, here is my second back strip. Excuse me, it's late at night. I'm tired. Yawning. Okay, here, so we have everything cut out from the Baby Bootie Die collection. This is your basic booty. You could go ahead and put this together and be lovely, but we're going to add a couple things to it. An embellishment on the top and patches on the bottom. Now, if you notice, a couple of these little details did not cut all the way through. There's a couple little connecting spots that you have to add a little snip to. It's my understanding that the die manufacturers, they can't make a connecting line at these angles, which, you know, fun fact to know. So it's no big deal to do just a couple snips to get this triangle piece out. I kind of think it looks like an arrow, so save it for another project. Okay, and I'm going to put a butterfly from Seasonal Stitches Butterfly on top of the booty. So I'm going to go ahead and get the holes only die. I'm going to lay it on top of my cutout booty and run that through. I'm making sure to line it up so it doesn't overlap these reinforcement holes we have going on. And this is nice because you can see exactly where it's going to go, how it's going to fit. And there you go. You have all the holes ready for that butterfly that I already kind of cut and added some detail to. All right, now we're going to do the patches. The patches are sold separately. They're Baby Bootie Patch Die Collection, and they have 2 sizes. These fit right there on the sole of the shoe, and they're only going to cut the holes out because you want to sew the patches in. It's kind of like lacing cards. The holes help you know exactly where they go, and the needle just goes right through these holes so nicely. These I run through at the same time. There you go. We got holes for our patches. And now we're going to go ahead and cut our patches. And there is the die that cuts the patches and the holes that match up with just the hole dies. Now I like to make my booties and any of my felt projects look as completely finished as possible. I want them to look like someone bought them in the store. It's kind of a challenge for me. And so with that in mind, I do 2 patches, one that goes on the outside of the sole, one that goes on the inside. So when you look in, you see these little patches too. It's really quite adorable. So this is the smaller of the patch out of Royal Velvet. And I'm cutting 2 per booty. And remember, we're going to need 2 booties. So ultimately you're going to need 4 of those. And here's the larger patch out of Raspberry Fizz. Again, 2 patches. Okay, this is just showing you all the pieces for one booty. I got everything I need right there. And of course I have a second set because kids have a right and a left foot, right? Okay, now we're going to go back to those rectangular holes. There's one on the topper and one on the bottom. And these mark the inseam, so you have a left and right booty. And this is how you're going to get it oriented. You're going to deal with it once, and then it's going to be a piece of cake to keep track of it. Alright, look here on the die. We have these little reinforcement holes, which I have stitched here on this booty. I figured this is going to get a lot of wear and tear, and we need a little help to reinforce it. So we're going to go ahead and stitch those in. And what I like to do is I like to make a cross stitch like an X, and then I like to box it in with embroidery floss. So it's an X within a box. And I'm going to do that right here. There's my X. There's my box. Now I can't imagine newborns are out there real rough on their booties, but if you want to make this even stronger, get a little fray check. And it's like a liquid glue. It reinforces it. It kind of stiffens the fabric. And once you do this little reinforcement bit, give it a little dab of fray check and you should be good. I think with these booties going on and off, anything we can do to strengthen this point, this is the weakest point, this is going to have a little wear, the better off you're going to be. Okay, so there we're done. We're going to tie it off in the back. I cut my thread there. That's okay. Okay, we're really doing 2 things here. We're reinforcing the top, and we're also marking the left and right booty, because we have those little rectangle holes on the inseam. There you go. I stitched all 4 of them, and on the underneath it's unfinished. So you're not going to stitch your booty together with an unfinished side face up. And in order to have an unfinished side face up, you would make 2 left booties or 2 right booties. By stitching in those little reinforcement holes and keeping them on the top, you've kind of set yourself up for not having to think about the left and right booty from here on out. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do a patch, and the reason why I am doing a patch first is for one very good reason. I want to show you how I do all my stitching, and this is my demonstration. It's a very easy, of course now it's completely slipping my mind what it's called. It's a running stitch. And so you just go in and out, every other. And then once I go all the way around, I'm going to go back the other way, filling in those empty spaces. It's going to look the same on both sides, completely finished, and it's going to be a solid stitch line. So I want to demonstrate that to you now because it's how I do the rest of this booty, and I will probably quickly reference it. So I wanted to give you one quick demonstration there. Look, you've seen I've gone all the way around, and this is the last stitch to complete all the way around on this booty. And now I'm going to go back the other way, filling in as I go. Both the front and the back look exactly the same. And you noticed, remember I mentioned I like the two patches, one on the inside and one on the outside. You see me sewing the patch into the sole with a top and a bottom. There you go. You can see how it fills in, and now I've gone all the way back around with my running stitch. I'm going to knot it between the patch and the sole to hide the knot, and then I'm done. And so this is how I'm going to do the rest of the booty, this type of running stitch that I backtrack over and then tie off. And I like to tie my knots between two layers of felt so nothing shows, and I'm just pressing the little ends down there and tucking them in. Alright, so you saw how I did my pink patch. I'm going to go ahead and do my purple patch off camera because you don't need to see it. There you go, they're both there. Okay, now if you're doing any sort of embellishment on top of your booty, there's the spatted bow booty, those are from the Baby Bootie Detail dies, you do it at this point. So I went ahead and stitched in that butterfly. You didn't need to see that. It's the same way I did it with the running stitch and then overlapping, going back. And now comes all the fun. What we're going to do is we're going to take these two heel strips and sandwich the booty topper between them, making a loop. And as you see, one end is a little longer, kind of creates a look of a pull on the back of the heel. I tried doing that, but it wasn't practical, so we're going for form over function here. And if you notice, there's 4 holes across, and there's 2 holes per side. So keep that in mind. You're going to catch 2 holes per side of this topper. Now, the booty body, which is in raspberry felt, gets sandwiched between the 2 strips, heel strips that are royal velvet. And I'm going to catch 2 stitches per side to bring it together into a shoe shape. And this is actually really kind of hard to do on camera, so please forgive me. I hope I can talk you through it, because I think visually it's just a little hard to see. So again, I'm doing my running stitch, and now I caught the 2 stitches there at the bottom, and now I'm going to go up to the top of the booty, and I make a conscious effort of sticking my needle through all 3 layers of felt. I'm always checking to see if I'm doing that, especially when you first start at any point. I find like the first 4 or 5 stitches are really fussy and fidgety, and once you get established, it gets much easier. Not a little easier, much easier. And right now I'm just kind of struggling with those first few stitches and having to do it on camera and keep it in the viewfinder. But I assure you, at this point I've made like 10 pairs of these. Piece of cake. Just in and out with that stitching, that running stitch, and making sure I have all 3 layers of felt. And here I'm at the top, There's the first top stitch, and here's the second. And now I'm going to pause and get the other end of the topper, and I'm going to nestle it in there and catch those 2 stitches on the other side, bringing this together in kind of a loop. You see? Yeah, there we go. Again, making sure I have all 3 layers of felt. This looks a lot more fussy than it is. I promise you it's easy. And again, just doing my running stitch, going to go all the way around and then backtrack and tie off. There, you've seen I've gone all the way around and I'm back where I started. The last stitch there. I'm going to tie it off. And now the top of the booty is ready for the sole. I usually do a double square knot. That seems to work. And if you want to use fray check at this point right on the thread, that wouldn't be a bad idea either. Okay, there you go. Isn't that great? Already. Okay, now back to those rectangular holes on the inseam, the instep of the booty. You want those to line up. This is your starting point. And in having this be your starting point, you assure that the heel strips are dead center on the heel of the booty. Back in the prototyping phase, I didn't have this in there, and I made a couple up and things were kind of like twisted around. It didn't look right. So this way, not only do you help yourself orient between your left and your right booty, but you have a starting and stopping point. You know with confidence, I need to match up this rectangular hole with the rectangular hole on the sole. Okay, I'm doing my running stitch and I have fast forwarded it to where the heel is. I just wanted to show you. I'm still doing my running stitch, but right here for 4 stitches, I'm stitching it through 4 layers of felt. The booty topper, the 2 heel strips, and the sole. And now I'm coming all the way around to where I started stitching. I've almost completely closed this up. And because you can't have a thread long enough to do the running stitch all the way around and then backtrack and tie off, you have to tie off here. And then what you have to do is you have to get another long piece of thread or floss. I use 2 strands. Oh, see, look, I'm looking, making sure my rectangular holes are lined up, and they are, and that means I have not missed a single stitch all the way around the booty. So that's a good little place to catch yourself, check yourself. Okay, I'm tying it off. And I'm going to cut, and what I don't show you on the video is how I take another piece of floss and I do the backtrack running stitch and tie it and cut it off. But I've done that off camera. You can see here it's every other, the stitches. It's a little ruffly there, but when you go on the backtrack, it evens that little ruffled edge out. And here I've gone and I've completely filled it in with a running stitch, and you see it's nice and even, all put together. Little patches inside. They're so cute. So that's the girl version. So adorable. Oh, and I went ahead, this is a great little gift idea. I have an elastic band that I actually sewed in a loop with my sewing machine, and I stitched the seam between 2 of those butterflies. So it's a little headband that matches the booties. How adorable is that? Alright, there are the finished little girl booties. So adorable. Probably great for 1, 2, 3 month old is what I'm guessing, having had a couple of those 1, 2, 3 month olds of my own. And there's some patches on the back, which I just think is such a great touch. Okay, stay tuned. There's more videos for the Baby Bootie detail dies and how those go together, transforming this basic bootie into 6 or 7 different variations. You become your own baby bootie shoe designer. It's so much fun. All right, thanks for sticking by me. Bye-bye now.